People oftentimes think that they could cover themselves with lying. They think through lying, it will make the situation better. They could hide things from other people, and people oftentimes also think what you don't know won't hurt you. But, you know, lying is deception. Not giving people the full truth is deception. Covering up information, that's all deception. And if you're led by the Spirit, you should know this, and the Spirit will convict you. And one story that I could share real quick about my personal testimony had to do with my sister's car. I've been working on cars since 2016. I've always loved cars, working on them, modifying them, racing them, whatever else. Now, back in February of this year, I was doing a general tune up on my sister's car, spark plugs, coil packs, and things like that. And when I was doing the job, I honestly messed up. And I'm really not the type of person to mess up on jobs. Usually I'm very thorough. I do it right the first time. There's very few times I've messed up. And normally if I did mess up, it was a simple mistake. But this time it was not the case. And you see, while changing my sister's spark plugs, part of the ceramic coating broke off. Her spark plugs were very old and they were kind of seized to the engine. Well, part of the ceramic broke off on one of the spark plugs. My sister only has 4 spark plugs because she has a 4-cylinder engine. Anyway, I used a tool to reach down into the engine and grab all of the little pieces, or so I thought, that broke off in the top of the cylinder head of the engine. And when I went to pull out that last spark plug, I missed a piece that I didn't realize. And when I pulled out that last spark plug, that piece went down into my sister's engine. And whenever I put all new spark plugs, new coil packs in it, I finished doing my other work and I put her car back together. I went to start it up. And now when I started up my sister's car, the check engine light was on immediately. The car was running really rough. And in fact, the engine had a knocking noise. As you increase the RPMs of the car, the knocking noise increased as well. And it was very loud and it was very distinctive. In the auto community, this is known as rod knock.
You hear that? Pop, 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 pop. You hear that? That? Okay.
Rod knock is essentially the symptom for a engine that's essentially gone. Now, typically, even if you were to mess up on a job like this, it would not be the end of an engine. You might bend a valve or burn a valve. For this scenario, it was not the case. And Satan was tempting me. I had the evil spirit in my ear, in my head, trying to get me to just lie. And I could have lied to my sister, and I know she probably would have dealt with the situation. Yes, she would have been upset, but she would have just dealt with it. But having the Spirit in me, I knew that was wrong. Going by the word of God, I knew that was wrong, and I felt it in me, even though it was an honest mistake, that I needed to own up to this. And that's what I did. So I gave my sister the truth about what happened. I told her, hey, one of your spark plugs cracked. It looks like I missed a piece and it fell into the engine. But I told her, I honestly do not have the time to be swapping out the engine on your car. I'm too busy. But if you take it to the local shop that you deal with sometimes, just have him look at it. He's going to tell you the same thing I just told you, more than likely. And when it's time to swap your engine, I will pay for it. So when my sister took her car to the shop and the head mechanic looked at it, he started the car up, hooked his scanner up just like I did, and he test drove it. He came to the same conclusion. Yes, the engine is knocking. Rod knock signifies, that the engine is essentially gone. And the only thing you could do at that point is rebuild the engine or swap the engine out. But what's funny about this story? And this is why being honest plays a part. This is why living by the word of God will save you. This is why dealing truthfully with people, God will deliver you out of situations. That head mechanic decided to test drive her car one last time. And you know what happened on that final test drive? The check engine light went away. The car misfiring went away. It running rough, that went away. and the car started acting like nothing ever happened. So the car went from the engine knocking, being essentially blown, to being fully recovered, all out of nowhere. God delivered me and my sister out of that situation. If I'm truly walking with Him, if I'm truly walking in His path, I should be dealing truthfully and honestly with all people, no matter how hard it may be. And I had the option where I could have lied and known my sister would have taken care of it, but I didn't. I gave her the truth. And because of that, God delivered me and her out of that situation. Because while she wouldn't have been paying for the damages, it was still her car, and she still would have not been driving her car for a little while. And ever since that situation back in February, my sister's car has been running fine. She has not had any mechanical or engine problems. So I'm telling you guys from firsthand experience, if you are truthful, if you are honest when dealing with people, if you are walking with the Most High God and you're following the path that He set for us, He will deliver you out of situations. This does not mean that bad things won't happen in your life. This does not mean that you won't have trials and tribulations and speed bumps. But when you are walking with God, He will be there with you and He will deliver you out of situations. So I hope this video helps some of you, and I hope all of you have a blessed day. Take it easy.